Hey guys, Hail Plus 324, welcome back to Let's Play Katawa Shoujo. In the last part, I did a little bit of an update. We talked to Kenji, we talked to Shizune and Misha, and they're trying to pull us into getting into the student council, and it seems as though they set us up so we'd be late to class, as more of an incentive to join the student council. So, let us go on. And even though I read this at the end of the last part, I'll read it again. I start to think that maybe this was an elaborate setup leading up to this moment. Maybe Shizune lured me out here, banking on the possibility that I'd lose track of time and be forced into the situation. Diabolical. Well, considering what I know of her, I should have been more on my guard, but to admit that I got myself into this, even slightly, would be unforgivable. I try to read Shizune's intentions in her eyes, but she just returns my stare blankly, innocently. Like, she takes a sip of tea, like she is mocking me. By the way, Hichan, I didn't plan this at all. Things just happened to work out this way. I was almost about to drop my theory as paranoia, but this puts a new spin on things. I almost fall over in awe. So it really was an elaborate setup, from the very beginning, all just to burn me and force me to join the student council. Ah, you look so nervous, Hichan. Did you really think we were tricking you this whole time? You're not? Hichan, you really thought? Or Hichan, whatever. Misha frowns, looking heartbroken. Shizune quickly frowns as well, following her lead. How synchronized. Two of a perfect pair. They must be twins. Hichan says she's flattered Hichan. No, Hichan says she's flattered Hichan, but doing that kind of thing would be a grossly inappropriate abuse of power and imposing on your free will. And it would be blackmail too. Hichan would never do anything like that. Never. I think about asking Misha, are you sure? But resist the urge to. Anyway, Hichan, what Hichan said is true. Hichan said is true. Since you're with us, and we're doing student council work, it's okay if we miss a class or two. Not that this is a good excuse to do so. Or one that should be used more than 3 times a month. Or something that can or should be abused. So, we must definitely return to class. Eventually. Wah! Shizune waves Yoki... Yoki? Don't have anything to drink here. Gotta look around for something. Shizune waves Yuko over and points to her empty teacup, indicating that she wants another one, as Misha scrambles to finish our parfait so she can order something else. Maybe I should as well. I'm still hungry, and the portions here are a little on the small side. Most importantly, Shizune is paying everything. With that in mind, I ask you to go for another sandwich. By the time we leave the tea shop, I've missed not just one class, but 2. Shizune and Misha seem content to let the whole day pass by, stalling for even more time by suggesting a tour of the town that turns out to cover a 2-block radius from where we start. Eventually, we do go back to school, and the rest of the day is business as usual. When classes are over, Shizune and Misha pack their bags and leave the room before me. Come to think of it, this is the first time they've left me alone. It's strange. I almost missed them. The room empties quickly, and I'm the last one out the door. When I try leaving the lobby, however, an arm lowers itself in front of me like a toll bridge gate, stopping me in my tracks. Oh, hi, Shizune. A pair of hands from behind come from my eyes, followed by a sharp burst of laughter. Hi, Hichan. Guess who? Misha asks the question completely without sarcasm, meaning she doesn't think that I instantly knew it was her for many obvious reasons. I wonder who it could be. Well, it's definitely not Misha. Ha 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 ha! It is! Misha swings around and stands in front of me, beside Shizune. Hichan, are you busy right now? Busy going to my room, yeah. See you two tomorrow. I try to make a break for it, but Shizune is too agile to get past. As for someone who used to play soccer, this is embarrassing. Not to mention that this behavior is drawing some odd looks. I should just quit while I'm ahead. Hichan, could you please go upstairs and get a few things for us from the art room? Why me? Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! Damn it! Ha ha ha! Damn it! Screw it! We'll do it live! Whatever. Hichan thinks that if the art teacher sees us, he will say hi, and she doesn't like him. Ignore him. She tried, but even though Hichan is deaf, he'll try to say hi anyway. Run away? I'd never run. A tone of finality so strong that I can pick it up even through Misha. I can see there's no use pursuing this further with Shizune. Misha, why can't you get them? Stairs make me dizzy, Hichan. Shizune nods as if to confirm it. Please, Hichan? We need these things to build stars for the festival, and you said you would help out a little, right? Right? I really shouldn't, but I guess this once would be alright. Okay. That's great, Hichan. Thank you. This is what we need. She holds up a piece of paper for me to take. I'm sure this list was made by Shizune. It's handwritten, but each letter is perfectly formed and uniform as if it were typed. Not just that, but it's exhaustively detailed, complete with numbers, bullet points, and even little checkboxes. What it boils down to is that she wants paint, paintbrushes, poster board, and an easel. Just different types and specific numbers of each. I wonder how I'm going to carry all this stuff down the stairs without breaking my neck. The classrooms closest to ours are designated belonging to classes 3-1 and 3-2 on the right side, and 3-4 on the left side, each door looking exactly the same. Further down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms that I didn't think were used for classes. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. This is what happens when we do this at 1 in the morning. I carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept or not in use. Am I in the right place? Desks and chairs are all around the room. A thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corner, so at least this looks like the right place. The room is flushed in sunlight from big windows, shadows creeping all over the desks. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody Something catches my eye, and I stop mid-sentence. Sitting on a desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform, with a fork between her toes, a morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. This odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me back even more. How did I miss it before? She's sitting in a corner very still, but somehow I still took her as part of the furnishing or a statue at first. I'm not being too observant today, as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. Staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering that I didn't finish my sentence and trying to think if I should. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello. The girl stuffs a forkful in her mouth, is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello. I was told to pick up some supplies from here. For some festival stars, I think. I didn't think there would be someone here. There isn't. That is why I came here too. She picks up another forkful. Doesn't that mean you're here then? She raises her eyebrows as if she was suspecting my observation was still false. You're pretty observant. I guess it does. But who are you? This girl's pretty straightforward, isn't she? I'm Nakai. Sao Nakai. I just transferred in on Monday. I'm Rin. Tezuka Rin. Rin Tezuka. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. It kind of bothers me. Joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. While I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and whether this girl is, she seems to have lost interest in me, is now gazing yearningly back at her food. Can I continue my lunch? If you don't mind me, I won't mind you. If you needed to get your stuff, the supplies are in the back. Go right ahead, but lunch? School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There's no word for a meal you eat after lunch but before dinner, right? It bothers me very much too, but I don't know what I should say. I don't think you're supposed to eat a meal between lunch or dinner to begin with. But I'm hungry and my delicious boxed lunch would go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes with at least as much impoliteness. She points it straight at me. So, Nakai, what brings you to this place? Like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school. From the outside, you look fine. Is your problem inside? I come to a full stop, opening my mouth but not getting a word out. I can guess. I'm good at guessing. Better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer her question or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I froze in front of this issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition, or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is part of a social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the people here can relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances, or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Ren keeps considering what my condition could be, with an overly contemplative look on her face. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side. I don't think it's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be boringly obvious, or ordinary, like the sunshine, and less delicious. The problem must be in your pants. This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement, and the sheer lack of tact it was delivered with, catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back physically as Ren's eyes widened in revelation and astonishment. So I was right. There's something wrong with your tackle, isn't there? Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing that I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem. Arrhythmia. I said it. Well, I blurted it out, but I said it. The girl in front of me purses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed. How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous. What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down. I forgive you, just I collect people, and a person with, that kind of problem would have been great. Collect people? People with different problems. Huh, so you just go around asking people what's wrong with them? Pretty much. I see. With little left to say, Ren resumes her lunch and the conversation dies away, but I keep thinking about what was said. It's the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already, or heard about it from someone else. Or didn't need to know about it like every other student here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of introductions? Is it expected of me? Hi, I'm Hisao. I have a very serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around introducing myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us. What a disgusting thought. Or maybe this Tezuka girl just has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens to study Ren from the corner of my eye. Her hair is a burnt auburn, almost orange, and cropped short. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and the lack of arms make her look very thin, almost scrawny. She's not particularly pretty except for her murky green eyes, which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs, even when she eats. The distance and the shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them like deep wells. She moves her feet almost as deftly as a normal person would use their arms. However, I can see how this sight could discomfort people, especially when eating. It makes me feel a bit uncomfortable, at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? I keep searching the cabinets and shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So, do you always eat alone this late, or do you get the occasional visitor? Visitors. Maybe you were my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof, if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh. That's all I can think of to say. Both of us fall silent again as Ren forks the last bits of her meal to her mouth. I look down at my haul and double-check it with Misha's list. It seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obliged to say. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do what you were going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping. I'm not sure what to make of this, but Ren looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll catch you around, Tezuka. You can call me Ren. I feel that our relationship is, at this point, good enough to warrant this much. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine, then I'm Hisao. Then you are. Ren looks at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple of times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hisao. There's something like a tiny smile there in her face, maybe. I guess that's your hint that she's somewhat into you. But we're not going after her just yet. We will eventually. Just not right now. Give it time. What an intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that... What did she hear? I jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she's got to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about a global feminist conspiracy, but I push that thought aside. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as if she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. 1 second. No, wait, more importantly, who's in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to curiously peek past me, even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long that we had to come check what's wrong. That's no good, Hichan. She wags her finger at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else here is still missing because you were tardy. Oh, sorry, I got the things here and I was just going to bring them. I think you're up to some mischief, Hichan. Who is in there with you, I wonder? Misha signs something quickly to Shizune, pointing in her ear a couple of times. Shizune immediately pushes away past me and opens the door into the classroom I had just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence of daring to deface school property by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she stares at Ren, frozen in place apart from the sight, but noticeable trembling of her shoulders from suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, trying to sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I just can't understand it. She shoots a very loaded stare at me too, as it was somehow my fault that Ren is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Dang, Shizune, you got him. It's exactly what he was doing. She's good. She knows. Hello. Ren's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. I open the door to find Ren directly behind it, looking at us with a half-interested, half-sleepy face. Hello. Miss Tezuka, what do you think you were doing? You are absolutely not permitted to use school property for such a disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about this turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune and Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, points at Ren, and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how's your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Ren looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself, too. And? We'll think about it harder. As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. Miss Tezuka, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw their lunch up onto it. Ren nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't, not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Ren frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. How rude. It's true, though. I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to unforeseen future. I'm about to ask what project she has and what these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? This paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks lightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off to the hallway, me and the paint can following since there's little choice for either of us. The hallway is quiet and empty now with Shizune and Misha gone, so we too leave toward the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps, I have to change the can from one hand to another because the thin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Ren strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching, or maybe I'm walking weird because of the extra weight. It seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai, what a happy coincidence. Tezuka, too, of course. He nods courteously to Ren, who does not acknowledge him back, but then turns to me because, obviously, it's me who he had some business with. There's something I forgot to mention on Monday. I nod and wait impassively because I can't begin to guess what he forgot. The feeling of this handle delving deeper into my skin doesn't make me feel enthusiastic about this interruption either. It's about your medication. Since you haven't been on... God fucking damn it. It's about your medication. Since you haven't been that long on your current medications, there might be some unexpected side effects which might require adjusting dosages or even changing to another kind of medication. So we will do a few tests regularly, but what I'd want is for you to keep an eye on everything in your condition that feels off, if you get what I mean. Nausea, headache, anything, and come see me if something happens. Alright. So, how are you? Everything fine? I give up and drop the can to the floor before answering it. Apparently this takes longer than my biceps can handle. I'm about to say something generic as an answer, but then I realize how often I've done that lately. Other people have asked me that too. Teachers and students here. My parents, visitors, nurses, doctors at the hospital. Everyone seems to be concerned about that. It's not for a hospital, not so much for a school. Except the school. This is a small school, and both the student base and faculty seem to be very tightly knit. At least that's the feeling I'm getting. This is not the kind of school that gets transfer students too often. Thoughts send shivers up my spine, but I give a generic answer anyway. That's great. Also, one other thing. Shit. My sources tell me that you've been at neither the school track nor even the pool, so I'd like to know if you've taken up exercising as I asked. Of course I haven't, but his way of inquiring gives me the feeling that I should have been running my ass off on the track since the very first day. You have people spying on me? Not as such. I just happen to know a few people. That's not the issue here, so don't try to slip out of it. Well, I was actually doing some improvised weightlifting as an exercise. I pick up and lift the can up and down a few times like some sad imitation of a bodybuilder, even though it's weighing down on my arms painfully. The stupid grin disappears from his face for a second, then comes back like it was never gone. Tezuka, would you give us a second? The nurse grabs me by the shoulder without waiting for Rin's permission, which he didn't need in the first place, and drags me aside. When I told you to exercise, I wasn't joking. I understand that you were still in your first week and all, but please don't ignore the importance of this. The reason I'm coming down this hard on you is that habits are not easy to form. The more you slip and postpone, the harder it will be. It's the same with everything, like dieting. Can you promise me to be more serious from now on? Alright, now, for Shizune's path, you want to say maybe, but for two other paths, you want to say yes. So I'm going to say maybe. Maybe. No, I mean... It gives me a nasty sort of look when I say that, making me try to take back the word. I mean, I don't know. I'm still trying to get used to the school. I'll promise to try, though. You're not being very convincing there, Hisao. Tip number 1. Medical professionals are not amused that you take their advice lightly. What's up with him? As if a day or two would make that much of a difference. I didn't do anything at the hospital, either. Yeah, okay, sorry. He studies me for a moment, then shrugs, smiling again. Okay, that's more like it. God damn it. If you go to the school track tomorrow morning, you'll meet my spy, who probably has no qualms offering consultation to you if you want to jog a bit. Consultation? See you around. He leaves with a wave of his hand and no answer, and I walk to Rin, who has been waiting, idly leaning against the hallway wall and staring at the pale lighting fixtures in the ceiling. Even when I approach, she doesn't move her eyes off them. Are you getting medications for your heart thingy? Were you listening? Comes out more accusatory than I intended, accidentally lashing out at her. But even so, I don't really want to start talking about it. I just met her. I don't know her. It's not her business. The nurse seems to be happily ignorant about confidentiality, too, talking about that kind of thing in public. But it's not Rin's fault, is it? Look up at her, suddenly feeling a bit guilty, but Rin is just staring past my shoulder quizzically, her head tilted like a bird's. Sigh. I don't know why this is so hard for me. Feels like there's some inexplicable lock that prevents me from being more upfront about this. Yeah, they're for my heart. Will they make you better? No, not really. They just make me a little less worse. Rin keeps looking at me for a while longer, and she neither says anything further, nor displays any kind of emotion I could discern. I'm thankful that she doesn't. I think I'm still not quite used to all this. At the hospital it was easy, but I still haven't sorted my feelings about having to live a normal life with this disability. We leave the main building, and Rin leads us onward toward the dorms. We stop at the small patch of greenery in front of the dorm building. The dorm is built on a slightly elevated ground with a wall and few trees that everyone has to circle around every time they come or go. It's probably the only inconvenient design in the school. The entire wall, made of the same kind of bricks as the building itself, has been covered with some sort of a painting. Most of it is still mere sketches, quick lines drawn with black and white against the gray plastering that covers the entire length of the wall, but some places look a bit more finished. There are human faces and legs and hands. I can't quite say what the painting as a whole might portray. Stacks of what seem to be paint cans are arranged in piles on the ground beside the wall. See, the left side is hardly off the ground yet. It's because I couldn't get in the mood yesterday, so I gave up and went to meditate instead. Then it was suddenly morning. I have to work on it, but the guys from art class are helping with the negative spaces and base surfaces whenever, which is the problem. It's easier to paint big areas if there are a lot of people with hands. The reach is better, and it's faster, too. She goes on a tangent of a tangent, waving a little with her arm, or whatever of it there actually is, to demonstrate even though I got the point already. The white cotton of her sleeve flaps around and makes me think it could look sadder than it does. Admit it. But it makes me feel out of place, like almost every tangible remainder of the student base's special properties has in the past few days. This girl doesn't notice any dreary feelings, of course, or the fact that she's lost me a while ago already, just keeps on blabbering. So that's why I'm trying to figure out if there's something I need to figure out, and then figure that out before it's too late and all hope is lost. Why would the hope be lost? Because paint has to be painted, then it has to dry, and then it has to be painted over with another kind of paint. It takes time. She finally stops, apparently thinking she made some kind of statement that makes sense. I think it's best to start from the top. So, this is your project. You did this? Yes. Yes. All of it? Yes. Nice, but I stumbled with my words, suddenly feeling like I've walked straight into the minefield of political incorrectness. It's okay, you can say it. I probably won't get mad. I blush really hard. I don't really know what would be the right thing to say, if any. It feels like I'm way more sensitive than Ren is, though. This is really awkward. Don't you want to ask? How do you paint without hands? See, I'm an easy person to talk to, right? With my feet. I almost guessed it already. Isn't that hard to do? You're good at guessing. Anyway, I don't think it is, but maybe I'm used to it by now. I can't get my mind around the fact that she could be an artist, but seeing how adept she was using her feet to eat, I figured painting might not be a problem either. Neither of us has anything more to add to the subject. The afternoon light works pretty well. I was afraid it would look too flat, but it's not like that after all. I think it's actually pretty interesting. I wanted to see what it looks like in dim light. Do you think it's flat? Well, paintings tend to be flat. Not like that flat, you know, flat, like some people are. No substance, no meat where there should be some. I know a few girls who... Okay, I get it. But I couldn't really tell, not that I'm good with art. I can't name many artist or artistic terms, so I don't really have anything to say. Ren shrugs her shoulders at that, saying, suit yourself, without saying it, and looks up at the sky as if trying to look for something up there. I didn't think I'd get any actual work done, but if you would give me him with the paints, I could do a little before it's too dark. I wanted to get a halogen lamp like the ones they have at the sports track, but there aren't any. Ren sure is quick to recruit my help, as was Shizune. It really makes me feel that the festival is such a big project that every pair's hands is needed. Why not? I'm not really sure if I can be any help, though. It's just mixing some paints. You can do that, probably. Do you have motor control problems like you know those people who have some? Cerebral palsy, maybe? Not that I know of. I get it. Heart thinking has nothing to do with that. She gives me a sly look for no reason. No, it doesn't. Let's do it then. So she sits on an empty wooden box and very naturally picks up a wide brush between the toes of her bare right foot. I open a few of the cans and pour some of the contents into shallow bowls for mixing. The thick paints flow lazily from the can to the bowl, like syrup. I mix them, creating funny, hypnotic-looking swirl patterns that melt quickly into each other to form a new monotone hue. Ren sets to work every now and then asking for a hand with something or the other. Finding different brushes is easy enough, but mixing the paints to be the exact tone this girl is apparently seeing in her head is a frustrating ordeal. She wants precision down to the last milliliter before she's satisfied, but her instructions are obscure at best. Add half a splash of green. I crouch down to pick up the can of bright green. The other green. This green. I carefully pour some of the other green paint into the mixing bowl. No, that's almost a whole splash. More white. Is green a good color to add? No idea. You're the artist here. A hint of a smile appears in the corners of her mouth. Do you lack an opinion? No, it's just that I have no idea. It's okay, because I just got an idea. Add more white. With this exclamation, I pour a minuscule amount in the bowl and mix it. It looks slightly whiter. That's not good. It has to be like the color when you wake up and you know that you saw the meaning of life in your dream but can't remember it. Maybe it's yellow. Despite the impossibility of mixing a color like the change of seasons or any other nonsense that's imposed on me, I find myself enjoying it more than I thought I would. And I believe I'll stop the part here. So, next time on Let's Play Katawa Shoujo, we will continue helping Ren with our painting, and possibly talk to Shizune and Misha some more. So, till then, take care, keep on painting.